Hey, y'all, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, this is Joe and Jay Outspoken. Remember to follow all of our platforms, and you can find them by going to linktree/Joe and Jay Outspoken. I'm Jay, and today Joe and I will be covering the subject of selective reasoning and why society follows narratives, often to a fault. Well, Joe, I'm curious if folks watching this will even comprehend what's actually happening.
They'll be like, "What selective reasoning? What that mean?
What
that be?"
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Well, let me tell you, it's easy to win elections when you just ban your opponent from running.
Ouch!
Ouch!
You know who you are.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining us once again. Yeah, here we go.
Sorry, I just whispered welcome back. I don't want to interrupt you. I just said
We're back at it again.
yeah, we are. We're back, guys. I know it's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week to a short month.
Yeah. And the months are getting shorter as we
really
go.
are.
So, this selective reasoning.
So you've been hearing about these states taking names off of presidential candidates, right? That they're not in favor
yeah.
of, right?
We're not going to put you on the ballot.
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Yeah. You know,
We don't like you. So
you're insurrectionist,
yeah.
right? Or how people in Congress from the left say he incited a direction. Have you heard him say that?
Yes, I have.
I'm like, man, good old Donald still has it in him.
Donald's inciting erections everywhere.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection, and maybe that too.
Yeah, you could talk about that too, I guess.
Maybe we should talk about that too.
Anyway, but you have
I thought you guys didn't like the Cheeto Puff.
I know. Here we go. And all of a sudden, I don't even know you
bunch
guys.
of turd birds.
I know. But anyway, they're removing him from the ballots based on Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And I guess they don't understand is that, you know, this was written back in, I think, pre-Civil War, you know, or post-Civil War. I don't remember when, but it basically what it was about was, you know, if you contribute to any kind of insurrection or things like that, then you could be accused or held accountable based on
Right.
on that section of the 14th Amendment. However, people don't understand that Trump was never charged with it. He was never, like, I believe he was cleared of that. Like,
yeah.
it never happened. Like,
that's right.
And he was acquitted of that.
Yeah, and the whole idea behind that, if you read deeper into that, that was written way back when there wasn't internet and Twitter and TikTok and everything else, and email, just basic email, or cell phones or texting or anything like that.
Correct.
So these people had to go and they had to stir stuff up door to door. You know, they had to get on their horse and go grab some other buddies that would agree with them and go down the roads in the neighborhood.
They had to Paul Revere it.
They had to Paul Revere it. Yeah, they had to stir the pot, you know. And that's not at all what happened on January 6th. And the thing is, there's people that I know that are kind of, you know, there's people that are close to me that truly, truly believe that there was this big, horrible, crazy thing that like President Trump basically personally emailed people and said, hey, we're going to storm the Capitol on, Jan 6th. And that is not at all what happened. It was a Facebook group that started, right? And were there some probably dum-dums out there? I would say absolutely. You know, there were some dummies that got out there and that had ill intent, right, to do things. Most of those people that were there were peacefully, like truly peacefully protesting. They were standing out there. There's tons of video footage of these people talking to Capitol Police and guards that were around the area. I don't know if specifically some of the folks, it's hard to tell because a lot of the video footage and stuff, you can't tell what service the folks are in. I'm assuming if it's on the Capitol, they're Capitol Police, right? So, and they're talking to these folks like every day. Like you would stop by an officer and say, hey, can you give me directions here, this or that? And so there wasn't anything that was like completely out of place going on, right? And Trump gets on television and tells people basically to go home. Like, don't, at first it's like,
respect our law enforcement, the Capitol Police and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's completely different than him being down there, getting on a pulpit like Maxine Waters in front of a crowd of people saying, you need to go and get in their face and all this kind of stuff. Well, I mean, and nothing ever happened to her, right?
No.
So
that's incitement.
And that is incitement. And if something would have happened that day based on all that, I think she should have been charged. Now, we have had, these people have said these kind of things. And then you've had riots in Portland and Seattle and places like that and all over the country. And who's been inciting that kind of stuff? Well, that wasn't Trump, right? Because obviously those people don't like him.
Right.
So who's being, charged for that kind of stuff? So we pull back the curtain a little bit. This becomes really silliness. And folks are being basically brainwashed, hogwashed into.
It's a two-faced party with those left. Let me just read a little section of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, and the heading of this is disqualification for holding office. So I'm just going to brief it down. So basically, it says no one in any of the branches of government shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, the government, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. Right. So if you break that down and start looking at it from section, so they should have not been engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same. So if we look at Trump, he was never involved in it. He wasn't, he wasn't in the insurrection, or rebellion,
in the erection,
or in the erection.
He was no part of it.
He didn't give aid or comfort to any enemies.
No, in fact, that one right there, I remember reading that and thinking, okay, now in Jan 6, at what point would anybody have given aid or anything like that to?
That's why they don't qualify.
Well, here's the thing. That would have been the Capitol Police allowing people to walk in the doors. Now, I don't believe that would be aid or anything but if you want to nitpick and all that, those would be the folks that would have given the most, allowing the folks just to walk in the door. And by now, if you have not seen the video footage, the actual video footage that came out, and they didn't want to release that stuff. Why didn't they want to release it? Because they knew
it showed what they were not saying.
Now, there were people there that were breaking windows and doing stupid stuff. It's one of two things.
FBI agents.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could have been plans to make it look like a. So there's what's called, these red flag events where people are placed to do something to make it look like a bad, like these folks did something bad. And it wasn't these folks. It was somebody else planted in there. So I'm not going to say that's what happened or didn't happen or what have you. Were there some turds there? Absolutely. Right. There were some turd birds.
Yeah. You can't blame the president for that.
No, but you can't blame the president. And most of those people that were there peacefully, you can't blame those people either.
No.
I don't care where in the country you have, people peacefully protesting.
Yeah.
They've got their signs up, picketing, doing whatever.
Like BLM.
Dude, even if it's even if it's for
protesting.
even if it's like a union thing, let's say it's not even politically charged, right? It's a union thing. People are out there doing, and you have 3 or 4 people that come in and start doing dumb stuff. That is not the union president didn't create that. The people that went down there for the grocery union or whatever it was, that's not their fault either. You've got some turd birds that did some stupid stuff, and they do need to be held accountable for that. And I've said it. This will be the third or fourth time, and I won't say it again. But there was a guy that was in Pelosi's office, threw his feet up on the desk, and was pitching papers and doing all that kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with that guy being, whatever's going to happen to him. Now, putting him in prison for 12 years, I would probably disagree with that. There's a lot of people that have done a lot worse stuff than that. But I think the disrespect of any of our houses, that these are ours. These places belong to the people, but they're also historical for us, and they need to be, they really need to be preserved.
So just talking about what you said, and then going back to that 14th Amendment, we call this a selective reasoning, right? And what selective reasoning is, basically, it's a type of argument that ignores all unfavorable evidence.
Right.
So that's why we picked this topic, because clearly when they talk about the validity of being on a ballot or not, they're totally off. They don't want to listen to the evidence that's against them, right? It doesn't favor us, so we're just going to ignore that, right? Yeah. That's what we call selective reasoning. And the states that are doing that, one is that they're clearly trying to prevent Donald Trump to become a president. By all means, they see they couldn't indict him. They got people. Right. This is ridiculous, the amount of charges that he's been brought up for different things. Right. One was from his buildings in New York. Right. Overestimated. I don't know what he did that they said he did, which is something that all real estate people do to get loans to build more. Right. So he did nothing wrong. All these other indictments that he had in Georgia and all these things that at the end of the day all have been proven false. Right. Now they have evidence that there was some kind of fraud occurring in Georgia. All of a sudden that's gone. Right. So you have all these things, again, selective reasoning from all these people. But their main goal, the ultimate goal for these individuals, is to remove him from the ballot, because that's the only way they know that they could win.
Yeah.
Is by removing him. Right. And why are they so in favor of winning? Because they want to continue this path of destruction of our country. You know what I mean? Look where we're at now. People are going to sit there and argue. Even some of our listeners sit there and argue. It's like, wow, you can't really get that bad. I mean, you can't be blind to everything that's been going on,
dude.
I mean, it's gotten worse, progressively worse, from more hatred going on in the world to just prices, to our economy, or well-being, or mental health. Everything's gone down the drain. And you can't sit here and blame one person, but you could blame the just the structure of it all. The left and their agenda and their propagandas and all the stuff that they've been throwing out there. Race, right? Everything's about race, and everybody could talk about whatever they want, but the moment you start bringing up, like our beliefs, what we feel on a conservative side, you can't talk about that. There was a person in, I don't know what country, they called the Bible evil lies, and I'm like, well, how could you go and say these things, but the moment we say something, we're the bad guys? Yeah. So I don't understand where this anger comes from. Like, why is he hated so much? Like, why is an individual hated so much, is what I don't understand. In our previous episode, we talked a little bit about Whoopi Goldberg and how she said that if Trump was elected again, he's a dictator. We'll never have another election because he's going to take it over. Like, basically saying that he's going to be like another Putin.
Why didn't he do that the first time? Like all the stuff they said about him, did he do it?
No.
Did he?
He just wanted a fair election, and he knew that there was some. How could you? When he saw the amount, all of a sudden the ballots were closing. All of a sudden, there's this rise of Biden votes come in. Anyone could, and he had that right as president to question the validity of those. Of those ballots.
So I don't. Even if you hate his guts and you say I'm going to vote for Biden or whoever the other, that's fine. That's not the point.
Christie.
Chris Christie. Oh gosh. Well, he dropped out, thankfully.
Yeah.
So you're going to vote for this other person, whatever, and that's fine. There's no way mathematically. Okay, forget politics for a second. Talk to any scientist about math, and the probability and chances of you have all of these ballots, right? 1 million ballots.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a number, doesn't matter. 1 million ballots. 750,000 ballots get turned in, and you get this line going that some are for Biden, some are for Trump, some are for Biden, some are for Trump. 750 ballots, and this goes all through the evening, and Trump is just a little bit ahead, and it's probably right where it should be on either case,
Right?
Where you got one guy's at 55, one's at 45, or whatever the percent, but it's pretty close to the middle. Now counting stops, everybody goes to bed, there's a water leak, all this kind of crap. And then all of a sudden the next morning you see this huge spike. One person got all of the votes. One person. That is mathematically impossible for that to have happened unless
Ballot harvesting.
Unless you had a box of ballots that you knew were of just that one person, and you just throw them into the machines and have it now calculate. No matter how, I don't care if it's Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the most left-based. Democrats, I forget what the percentage, but it's huge. I mean, if Washington, D.C. ever became like a voting place, it would always go blue. Always. There's no
God, it's not.
Yeah. And even in that place, even there is a percentage of people that will still vote on the other side of the fence. There is no way that you would ever have the situation that happened like that. So if that had happened, flipped, it happened the other way, everybody would be up in arms and be like, wait a minute, that was impossible. That couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because you would have to have the other numbers. Granted, maybe. And okay, fine. Uncle Joe got more votes in that, but Trump would have still got some votes in that. It wouldn't have been he got 0 and Uncle Joe got the other 250,000.
What a coinky dink.
That would have never happened. So that's our thing with this, is that you guys out there in YouTube world and podcast world, wherever you're at, you're smart enough to know to deductively reason.
Are you though?
Are you? that there's something fishy going on and something didn't go right. And so now you have a president asking questions, and now these people that don't want him in office. And Joe asked the question, why wouldn't you want this guy in office? Now think about it a second. You got people like Obama, and I know a lot of people out there.
Oh, you mean Obama, the one that just said that there would be incalculable damage if elected again, Trump. That's weird.
Well, so now you take and I'm talking about I'm talking about Mr. Barack, his friendship,
born in Hawaii,
with the Bushes. Now
all of a sudden they're all buddies.
Yeah, and guess what? The Bush family. Guess who they don't like? Trump.
Because he calls them out on their BS. He called them out on their BS.
And the Obamas don't like, guess who? Trump. So now, are we saying all of a sudden that we trust the Bush family and that we trust the Obama family? And forget about family for a minute. That organization, the Clintons, I mean, at this point, everybody knows.
The head of the mafia.
Everybody knows those folks have got weird nonsense going on, right? And they're
Epstein regulars.
And they're Epstein regulars. Wow. Island hoppers.
Hoppers.
So they are all in like this, they got their own Facebook group, man. They're all in cahoots together, and they all hate this one guy. Why would that be? Well, because that one guy, guess what he will never do? He won't ever take bribes from these people. He doesn't need their money. He has his own money. Is he a little bit of a narcissist? He's a little conceited. He's into himself.
But here's the thing, Jay. Let me ask you this: is he though? The guy was he was the only child, right, in private schools, raised by aristocrats. I mean, how boring of a life is it, and how isolated of a life that is? He's just not good around people.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make him a bad person.
We're not voting for him for that, though.
No, but we're not going for the most popular person in high
No.
school. This ain't school politics. This is, you know, a person that's going to run a country. He's run his company. Look, be what it may. The guy is a good businessman. People might not like him. It's like, well, he filed bankruptcy. Well, you have to remember, filing bankruptcy also helps you.
Yeah.
Right, it protects you.
Right.
It protects you and whatever other businesses you have.
Right.
So no, filing bankruptcy, a certain type of bankruptcy will help. Right, and that the guy is smart. Let's give it to him. Let's give him credit where credit is due. The guy's smart. I mean, we need someone like that. And here's the thing: he said this was in the first time. Now he's saying it again this time, but the first time he said, "I don't care if they're left or right. If they're wrong, they're wrong."
Yeah.
Right, and he's gonna clean them out.
Yeah.
And why do you think that even people in his own party don't like him?
That's right. There was so many people on the right, Republican Party, that didn't like the guy. Why is that? Because all of them are shaking in their boots that they're going to lose their little cash cows that they all have. Because all of these people all of these people get funny money from all over the place. I'm telling you guys, right? I mean, we might get busted for this, but Ukraine is a money laundering.
Ukraine.
I mean, 100%.
It is. It really is. That's where all the money.
And so all of these people that are voting for this are getting so many kickbacks. Money's coming back this way. I mean, why is it that you got that guy over there and he's buying new mansions and a new yacht? Really? Like, they're in the midst of a war and he cares so much and he does that. You know,
then Trump called them corrupt.
Yeah, and
weird.
And listen, the thing is that people think when you criticize one thing, you're agreeing with the other side. No, I don't agree with Russia attacking and, you know, hurting people or anything like that, right? I mean, this is no different than the, you know, Israel and the Gaza Strip, all that nonsense happening over there. Same thing. Both of them need to knock it off. But I'm going to tell you what, if somebody came in and attacked your family, you're going to fight back. So I understand the Ukrainian people fighting back against Russia. I understand it, but we have to understand what's going on. Listen, Russia is a superpower, and they could turn that country into a parking lot, right? Instantly,
mm-hmm.
And they haven't. Why? Because they're not trying to. I mean, I'm not in the middle of all this, and, you know, I'm not a political expert on, and from what you can see from the past,
I'm Russian from my father's dad's side.
They want to put it's no different than China wants Taiwan, right? China wants Taiwan to be a part of China again. Russia wants Ukraine to be a part of Russia again. Same thing.
U.S. wants Texas to be back in the Union. Oh, are they back?
Yeah, they've been back for a little while.
Oh shit, sorry.
What number was that state? I don't remember. This is state 48, so
it was way up there, late in the business.
It was late in the business, yeah, because they dropped out for a minute and then came back in. So anyhow, this whole thing is people will, in their minds, right, follow a narrative that has been created by a bunch of people that just are feeding them all kinds. And it's sad because I've known folks that have had a pretty clear state of mind and sat down in front of the TV and watched it for years upon end. And then me seeing them years later and them being just completely mush brain and not really having any reasoning behind, you know, what they're now believing in. And they're following all of these false narratives that are out there and not thinking for themselves and just saying, no, this is the way it is because this is what I saw on TV. No, this is what I heard. I mean, this has got to be what it is because why would Wolf Blitzer or whatever his name is, you know, why would he lie to me? Well, they all have a little bit of a, you know, a narrative that they've got to abide by.
Yeah.
That BlackRock wants them to
follow.
to follow.
But you know the last time that this happened with the removal of someone's name off a ballot, you know when it was? This was back when Lincoln was running for president.
That's
And,
right.
and they did the same thing.
Yeah. Then,
And you know what the results were? Civil war.
yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because the liberals didn't want to lose the Democrats, the liberals didn't want to lose slavery. They wanted to keep slavery.
Right.
And so
Think about that.
They knew that Lincoln, his big drive as a Republican was to eradicate the slavery. You know, he is the one that came up with the Emancipation Proclamation, right? And so because of that, they wanted to remove him from the ballot. And what followed was civil war. So are we to expect the same thing to happen here? I mean, are we going to allow this time around for this kind of blatant disregard for everyone argues about it, and I hate this term DEI, but everyone jumps on that bandwagon, right? All the HRs are living their dream with DEI, but where's the equality in this right now? You know what I mean? When it comes to presidential candidates, how equal is that? How fair is that? You know, if they're using any excuse, lame excuses at that.
Yeah.
Real lame excuses. That 14th Amendment does not remotely even apply to anything to do with what they're accusing Trump of. But yet they want to remove him from the ballots. How they can't be more in your face about how crooked they are about this election coming up than they are right now. And they're doing it right in front of us.
Yeah.
And no one bats an eye. No one says nothing. So that's in like in every group, we have radicals on the left like we do on the right.
Oh yeah.
So what's going to happen when if this goes south again? Is there people going to actually start wars? I mean, is there a possibility? Why not? There's a movie coming out about it. Why not? Why not do it?
I got a buddy of mine that I used to work with years ago. He's out in Oklahoma, and
Oklahoma.
We text back and forth,
Okie from Muskogee,
occasionally, and anyways, we were kind of talking about this. Just like we pray that this kind of works out the way it should, but it's not looking good right now.
Or something else might.
And it's really a scary thought, but it wouldn't go good. I've watched a bunch of these scenario things that they do, because there's like AI scenario builders, and it'll take numbers of people.
You do that?
Huh?
Did you not watch the movie War Games?
No, I don't do the AI stuff. There's people that already have it on YouTube. I don't have time for that.
Okay, I was gonna say,
I'm busy
bro,
editing our videos.
I'm like, did you not see War Games?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
80s movies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
and these people show all that, and they say, what would happen if the right and the left actually went to war? In every scenario, man, it's the right like just destroys the left.
I wonder why. It's so science. This house is a gun-free zone.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I would never want that to happen, but if it came down to it, and you've got some of these weird militia people or whatever that,
hey, if my freedom is being jeopardized,
well, what
won't you do? What won't you do if like crazy California, that they pass all these things, they're trying to give money away to illegal immigrants now in health. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're just spending the money that they don't have. Like, if things start really impacting your family, think about it. If things start impacting your family, what are people willing to do?
Yeah. Well, we've already seen when, natural disasters and stuff happen, people are really quick to loot and do all that kind of stuff really quick.
Natural disaster, all I got to do is look at BLM. Yeah. All they needed was an excuse. Oh, he did this. Oh, time to go steal Gucci.
So,
you know what I mean?
Now you think about it, you put two things together. You put civil unrest type, scenarios like that, like the BLM stuff. And then you put together something that would be, now this isn't natural disaster, but it's a naturally occurring thing if the economy tanks, right? And now there's no money, there's no food, people don't have jobs. The thing is people go into a grocery store right now and get something off of a shelf, right? Where'd that stuff come from? Well, there's people that work in the store that had to put it on the shelf. There's somebody that unloaded it on the dock, right? There's a truck driver that
There's
had
a
to
chain
drive
of
it.
events.
There's a lot of chains, and when that stuff starts to break down, because at one point or another, I mean, people aren't going to be, caring about you more than they're going to care about their family and about getting goods and services to stores and things like that. We, during the pandemic, we saw, which was the most idiotic thing, and this really shows me that we're not going to make it as a society, is that toilet paper was the most important thing.
Oh God.
And that was a rumor that was started on like 4chan or something like that, and then got to Facebook and got to Twitter at the time and all that. And people were like, we're going to run out of toilet paper. Are you kidding me?
To think of all things, bro.
Yeah.
Like water, food,
Yeah.
Frito-Lay chips, whatever. They're Chips Ahoy, cookies. They go for toilet paper.
Toilet paper,
Bro. That's the last thing I'll be looking for. Meantime, there's water and pine cones. I don't know, whatever. But I'm not gonna be looking for toilet paper.
Leaves.
Yeah, I'm not looking for toilet paper, bro. Food is the most essential part. Like, okay, guys, look, I know we don't have a lot of food, but let's get that toilet paper. It's important. I'm like, what? They were showing videos of people that had their garages filled from top to bottom, side to side, front to back of toilet paper.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, you think about it now, I'm like, what are you doing with all that toilet paper, sir?
Lifetime supply, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some kind of game show thing. And you won a lifetime supply of toilet paper.
Oh, God. But it's a scary thing, Jay. And I think that one of the biggest things for me is how far are people willing to go? Like, how far are they willing to keep pushing their agenda, this selective reasoning of their excuses to behave in that manner? Like, it's not even, we have to consider this. If they're willing to do that with a presidential candidate, what else are they willing to do? What else of their selective reasoning will they use to control what we do?
Right.
I mean,
it's already happening.
It starts at a certain level, but it's going to trickle down to the citizens, to us.
Yeah.
And to what level are we going to allow that to happen? Like, is there a point where it's like, okay, enough's enough? Is there a point where like, hey, let's start holding, you know what? Look, I might not like this guy, but he shouldn't be removed. He needs to give a chance just like everybody else. And of course, if majority rules and they want him, guess what? He's it. You can't have it both ways, right? You can't, because just as easy as happening to us, it could happen to them.
Right.
It could be turned just as quick.
Well, and that's the thing is you chip away at rights and a big enough group, democracy, a big enough group, right? It only needs to be 51%. And this is the thing, this wording has been used for a long time. We do not have a democracy, right? But a democracy creates all we need is 51%.
Yeah.
So you said that this is going to start, we're going to see it elsewhere, and we have seen it. So if somebody comes up to you and we're trying out for a film production and they say,
Pornhub,
you're oh my gosh, you're too Mexican for the part. That sounds pretty racist, right?
We need a white guy to play you as a Mexican.
Yeah. Cultural appropriation. And then they come to me and say, you're too white for the part. Yeah, that's okay. You can say that, right? Then they come and say, you're too straight for the part. That's okay. You're too gay for the part. That's not good, right? So you see how some of these things sound okay, no big deal. And the other things, people would go, oh my gosh, that's so terrible that you would say something like that. Why is it one's more terrible than the other? The fact that we have things called protected classes really starts to show you how things have went one way. I don't ever want anybody disrespecting this guy right here. Okay?
You were going to say Mexican, huh?
Well, I emphasized on guy because I called you gay a minute ago. So
yeah, opportunist,
whatever. But we need to understand that all these little chips that we're giving them, that they're taking away from us, we're not getting them back. We're
empowering them to take more.
That's right. And so, parents are up in arms about boys going into girls' bathrooms and stuff like that, and they should be, and you shouldn't back down. pull your kids out of the damn schools and stuff, because this is getting to a point that we can't allow this stuff anymore. The people at the top and I agree with you, man. I don't know, like, at what point did this change so much? And one of the things that I think was a huge factor for us, hitting the fork in the road and going the wrong direction was when COVID hit.
Oh yeah.
So we had stuff with
it. I think that shit lined us up. It prepared us, or allowed them to prepare to manipulate everything else.
Well,
isolation, and mental health issue, all those things that it goes with
mental
that.
health jumped. What was the percentage during COVID? I mean, it was just a ridiculous amount of percentage.
Well, think about it. You got isolated, you're removed from society, you're pulled back into just your own little world, disconnected.
Yeah, it's really, and the thing is just like you were saying, it was preparing people, and they were seeing how far they could push people and do things. Okay. And at this point, we know with all the vaccines and all that stuff, and the 6-foot rule, remember that?
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff. They lied, fibbed, and made up most of this stuff. Now, I'm not a COVID denier at all. It was real. I had it, right? We're not saying that this stuff wasn't real. The thing is, there was so many things that were pushed so quick and so fast around everything that happened. Yeah. And we already know the death count was lied about, so when we say, oh, there was X amount of people, no, there wasn't, because they counted all these people that passed away. Right. So
from secondary
issues. So if you have a heart condition, and there's a chance that you may have a heart attack any day, but you're driving down the freeway, you get in a wreck and your car flips over and everything, and you die. Okay. What did you die of?
The car accident.
So, and they'll probably put whatever it is, if it was asphyxiation or your head was
blunt force trauma.
Right. Exactly.
Noggin.
That's what's going to go on your death certificate. That's how
COVID.
You died. They are not going to put that you had a heart condition. That's not going to be on there. But COVID was on everything. People that died in car accidents, people that died of heart attacks and things like that, they blamed it on COVID, and that increased those numbers. So, and to this day, people, and we still see it, we make fun of them. People walking around outside with masks on, all by themselves, in their car, all by themselves with masks on. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't make fun of them.
I do.
I make fun. It's funny.
The thing is that is ultimate indoctrination, right? So again, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, when I go to the grocery store, I like to put a mask on just to be safe, or I'm sitting in a chair at the nail salon or whatever. Honestly, I don't have a problem with you doing it. I mean, it's a free country. Do whatever you want. It's free country for you to walk down the middle of the street.
Hey, but and you're right. But there's people out there that have family members that have respiratory issues, and they want to protect from bringing them home anything. Hey, do what you need to do.
Absolutely. I stand behind you for making that decision. The thing is the whole point of this is, why are you deciding to do that? So if you're living at home all by yourself with your 19 cats, right? And
no, you didn't.
And the reason I have that pointer is you're living at home with your 19 cats, not wearing a mask there. And then you really think that your allergies are caused from, the fresh air outside, people 120 yards away from you. You've been indoctrinated. That's all there is to it. So we've got to stop all this, and people have to start really thinking for themselves and understand that there's an agenda out there, right? And again, you don't have to like Trump. You don't have to vote for Trump, but you have to admit that trying to pull him from a ballot is unconstitutional and crazy.
I wouldn't, as much as I don't like Joe Biden, or as much as I don't like,
I would never want
Hillary Clinton, I would never say, hey, let's just remove from the ballot.
No,
I don't agree with what I don't know. And I don't agree with the Republicans trying to remove Joe Biden from
That's
the ballot.
right.
I don't
And that's
agree
what-
with that either.
That's what I was going to say. There's a couple states that have already said, "Oh, well, we're gonna, we're red states. We're gonna retaliate, and we're gonna pull Biden off the."
That's childish.
ballots."
That's
childish, and
No,
I do
leave it there.
not. I don't agree with that. Not like at all, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
No.
If you're gonna, if somebody's gonna be pulled from a ballot like that, the only reason that should happen is if they pass away, they renounce their citizenship in the United States, or they commit some like heinous crime,
or they visited Epstein Island.
Some kind of heinous crime that they get convicted of, and they're not. And the thing is, so you're going to say, "Oh,
a traitor, really?"
Right, yeah. If you have, and which would be a heinous crime if you're a traitor to the country.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to say, well, see, and that was one of the other things too.
Which you can be executed still under law as a traitor.
Yep. We need to bring that back. So, how many indictments did Trump? I mean, it's 150 or something. It's so ridiculous. So that's another thing, guys. If you're gonna
never in history has a president been.
And you know what? If I was that hell bent against having him convicted and busting him, I would have my top minds. And I'd say, listen, I know we've got all this stuff, 150 different things.
They're all frivolous.
They are.
I'd
say
them.
I need 1, 2, or 3 things that we are going to nail him on, and that's it. Because then, if you got at least one of those things, people could.
They're all they're doing is running his name to the mud during election time.
That's all they're doing.
It's 2024. Yeah. They know it's time. Elections are coming. They're just gonna muddy the waters. That's all they're doing. And just so people could say like, "Oh my God, he was indicted," and they're trying just to do anything. You got Obama talking negatively. You got Whoopi talking negatively about what's going on. All these people are just talking so much, spewing so much hate.
Smackaroony.
Yeah, and then they're removing them from ballots. I mean, they're doing. To me, honestly, it's a sign of desperation. They're desperate, bro. They're desperate because they know what's coming.
Yeah.
The reckoning is coming, my brothers.
Well, it's like I say, those people have a cush life, right? They all work together. All of these people belong to the same clubs. They play at the same golf courses. They do all the same stuff.
And we're talking about Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah,
alike.
Yeah, everybody.
They're all in the same. They put a great show on TV on C-SPAN for you, but then after hours they're having dinners or doing another thing. That's where you watch all that stuff. On C-SPAN.
Yeah, I get on C-SPAN. I don't have cable anymore. So that was a thing that I recognized years ago. I cut cable, and I noticed that my thinking was a lot different. From not watching.
You're also a conspiracy theorist.
I am. But you know what? It's not.
I miss that guy with the hair with the UFOs. Remember the guy with the crazy hair?
Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I miss him.
Yeah, and folks that I share kind of that in common with that stopped watching cable, kind of had open minds about stuff, and people that like watch a ton of cable. They all kind of seem to float in one direction. It's kind of weird how that works,
Disconnect, people. Disconnect.
And indoctrination is real. It's real. So
I can't spell it, but I know it's real.
Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I'm Jay, and that's Joe, and this has been Joe and Jay Outspoken. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's you all that help the channel to grow. If there's a topic that you would like to see us cover in the future, let us know at joeandjproductions.com/ideas. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Take care of one another.
And remember, do better, be better.
And as always, God bless America.
We'll see you later.